once we start the meeting, nobody can come in, so. Until you're ready.
But they're approving all
Six.
three budgets tonight. Right? I'm asking,
Okay.
So on.
We were approving them to go to the town meeting.
right.
Yeah.
If it's just us, I think we have a good chance.
Good evening. And tonight we're gonna do the Board of Selectmen meeting. And at first, we're gonna do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're gonna do citizen comment. Comments. And we'll do the approval of minutes. The minutes for April 14th. The minutes for April 22nd and the minutes for April 28th.
I have read those minutes. I make a motion that they be approved as written.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Additions to the agenda? No additions. Correspondence and announcements? Okay, we're gonna go on to the Public Works report. They're pretty much done Shetucket and James Road with the chip sealing. So now they're working on Stonehill and Gardner. So they're working on that now.
That was left over from our conversation at the last meeting, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so. Local traffic authority, I really don't have anything tonight with that, so. And Tony with the treasurer's report.
Oh, quick, okay. Hello, everybody. Looking at the treasurer's report for the month of April. Interest earned for the month, $10,188. That brings our fiscal year to date to 109,548. Comparing that to the same period last year, April. The month of April last year was 91,88, and year to date at that point was 118,267. Compares pretty well with a falling interest rate environment and having a little bit less money to invest. So pretty good there. Yield, the yield on our CDs, of which if you look on page 2, the packet I have there, there's only 2, there was actually 4 in the month earlier, but they've kind of matured and rolled. There's only 2 that's for the town, and there's 1, excuse me, the transfer station that's there. Those are all earning 3.8%. We're getting about 3.71, 3.72 on a daily rate. It's been fluctuating a little bit with step. And that's about all I got there. Federal Open Market Committee met a couple of weeks ago, the end of April. And they left interest rates alone. Their next meeting is going to be June 16th and 17th. That more than likely is going to be with a new Fed chair. And my understanding is it's either going to be tomorrow or Thursday. They're going to put that to a vote. And that's other than where interest rates are kind of going. The CPI that came out today, not good when you just drive by a gas station or you buy some groceries. We'll see where that takes us in the next couple of months. But at this point, doesn't look like rate decreases will be are currently on the table. That the next move may actually be an increase in inflation as we subside soon. And that's about all I have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any old business time? New business. We got the appointment of the auditor tonight. King Associates. Pretty much the same guys, right? Same guys? Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Is it an annual appointment? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Right there,
It
spot.
is annual, even though usually the contract might be, usually we do contracts at 3 years, I think.
How long have you been working with these things?
The whole time I've been here, so I
Okay.
think this is.
This is as long as I've been here too, so I ended with Sandra. the
Year
year
5 or
before.
6.
So I started in November and we had to look, I think this is I think it is year 5, I think it's the 4th one that they did, 'cause I think Sandy finished up the year that I started in November, so I was kind of like over 6 months here.
25, 26 will be year 5.
Yeah, and she retired. So Julie and I were kind of scrambling to find someone.
Okay.
After Sadie's the last one. And they do a nice job.
So looking for a motion?
Yes.
All right, so I will make a motion to appoint King and Associates as the auditors.
I'll second the motion for appointing King and Associates as auditors.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now I get the budget discussion with Town Superintendent Scott Better. Scott, and that's Kate, who run the.
Go for a lot. Again, favors.
So the
So I guess I'll go, because what I was looking at is we're looking at, what is it, just over $100,000 increase from last year?
Yes, 147.
And so I had watched the meeting. I didn't really get a lot of information out of it, but I just wanted to get some of maybe the higher points to what the increase is for. And maybe some,
You watched our meeting?
it was Brian was at it.
Oh,
He
yeah.
had a
One of the
slideshow.
budget hearing.
Yeah.
The bulk of our increase is related to high school special education. That's pretty much almost the entirety of the increase, actually.
Okay,
So that increase was over 200,000. When we started the budget process. And the important thing to understand about that particular increase is it's out of our control. We don't get to decide those things, right? So there's law, there's IDP status, and there's what the high schools charge for certain services. So about 28,000 of that increase comes from related services. Related services are speech, occupational therapy, physical therapy, counseling supports, all within the IEP. And those get billed to us at a per use. In other words, there's not like a set, here's how much we charge you for the year, it's who needs what, and depending which school. So NFA has one full all-inclusive charge, and then Griswold and Wheeler have charges that are one set price for tuition and then additional for services. So it's done differently in both places.
okay,
Well, NFA charges us for a regular education student a year out. So they look at October 1st, who's on the rolls. We get filled for those students the next year. So for next school year, we're paying for the kids that were there in October last year.
okay,
What that's important to understand is in regular education, that's going to hit us hard next year. Because we have a large 8th grade class that went in to NFA this year. Right, but we're not seeing the impact of the regular education this year. However, on special education, that is year to year. So we do have a large population of special education students who are going into the high school next year. So that's a massive impact. The other big impact was out of district placement. We have 2 out of district placements that are each tuition is over 100,000 per student. One is new. So with all those numbers, what we did is we reduced lots of other places to manage the whole budget to get us to the point of under 2%. But as far as other increases go, they're not really there. In fact, the decreases, you'll see increases in certain spots, but they're offset by other decreases in comparable spots. But I could probably.
so, So that doesn't always go well in Ballingtown. I'm just gonna throw
Why
that
not?
out there to you, that when you have a decrease in one area or a decrease here, but you've increased it over here, so it equals out. It doesn't always land well at the,
Can you give me an
at the
example?
annual meeting. Well,
Well, yeah, you have to just be clear with, an
Yeah,
example, one
there-
went up,
yeah,
but, you know, explaining it like that can.
Oh, I see. You
right,
mean the
because then
explanation
you're,
doesn't go well.
because then you'll be
Okay.
you'll be accused of hiding things and
Well,
not being transparent.
for the meeting, I'll be doing a presentation at the meeting. And that presentation will hit on all the key points. So the meeting you watched, where Brian was in attendance, the meeting prior to that, there's two other meetings prior to that. And those meetings are more actually specific.
Okay,
So the one directly before that, the board actually asked for specific line items that were the most impactful.
yeah,
So I actually went through each of those, probably about 15 line items that are really impacting the budget. I don't address things that went up $100. Even if it went up 100%, I don't really get into that.
yeah.
But things that were impactful to the budget, I went through line by line about those 15 lines. That particular section is what I would probably bring on the 28th.
So it,
26th.
Yeah.
sorry.
so one of the things that I've been hearing a lot of chatter about is the social worker. So is that part of the high school needing social work, or is that for us?
So I'll explain the whole. So right now, this year, we currently pay $28,750 for what's called a BCBA. That is a psychology specialist who focuses on behavior management. That person works 4 hours a week for $28,750 for the year. Not a good scenario, right? That's extremely expensive. If you multiply that out and make that a full-time job, that person would be making. And for 4 hours, multiply that by 8. That person would be making $200,000 for that job. That job doesn't pay 200,000, pays around 75. However, that's what we do currently. We also then pay for a service to do IEP related services. That person then bills us at about $42,000 a year. Those two people that represent a very small amount of time supporting students in the school are costing us $70,000. The cost of a social worker.
So those two are going away.
If we
Those
can find a
those
social worker,
contracts are
a
going away.
psychologist, not a social worker.
Right, right.
A psychologist,
Sorry about that.
the psychologist will pick up both sides of that and then some for the same price.
So I'm just trying to understand this. It's my first year going through all of this stuff, so I'm trying to, when I hear about it at the lake, I call summer long. I want to be able to speak to it intelligently, other than going, just trust me. Is there enough even for a full-time psychologist at the school?
If you combine all the work that's associated with what we should be doing for our special needs and non-special needs students, yes. If we're looking to actually take a hold of our most struggling learners and support them across the board, a psychologist does that more than just on mental health, then absolutely, yes. If we look at it as we're gonna do the minimum basic that's in an IEP, then no. So our plan A is if we can find the right person. Our plan B would go to a part-time person. But you can't budget that way.
Right,
So we budget according to the hope, the expectation, not the plan B. If plan B happens and we're only able to do a part of the service, we're still gonna look to adjust the service to be more than, again, just think of it, 4 hours a week. For
right, which is
almost
nothing. You get
$29,000.
comfortable and then you see.
Well, no, it's a service.
Yeah.
It's not a person. I mean, it's a person, obviously, but it's a service. We pay a company to do that. And sometimes you do pay a company. That's not a problem. That's not a bad thing. But if you don't have to pay a company. The price
Is there somebody on site for those 4 hours? Or-
Someone's on site for 4 hours a week.
Okay, is same person that the kids get
Yes.
comfortable with? Okay,
So the kids don't. It's hard to explain all this. The kids get comfortable. The kids that person sees would be the students that are the most behaviorally challenged students in the school. Not many. It's not a global way to support the school. It supports individual students based upon IEP.
Mhm.
That's not the best system you want to build.
Right.
That's a
so
reactive system rather than a proactive system.
where the psychologist would be a proactive approach, which,
It saves you money in the end, because if you do all the right things for the student, as soon as there's a problem, I call it a red flag. As soon as a parent, the student themselves, or a teacher raises the red flag, says, there's something here that's not, this needs more, right? That needs more. If you're waiting for the person to come on Fridays for 4 hours and you hope they get to that support, that's one way to look at it.
right, well, I'm not advocating for either one. Because I feel like if the kids know somebody and they get comfortable with them, they're freer to talk to them, you understand what's going on,
100%.
makes the problem easier to fix.
But remember,
So-
they can't wait till the person's available to be able to talk.
Right,
That's
right, that's why I'm saying if somebody is there consistently,
Correct.
not 4 hours a week,
Correct.
so I'm not trying to fight you on that.
No, no,
I'm
no.
trying to, because to me, it makes sense to do that for the kids. What I really want to understand is what you're telling me is how it is all gonna work. Are they gonna be there from the time school opens to the time the kids go home? So if there is an emergency case where somebody has an issue, that somebody is there right then.
In the best of all worlds, finding that person's not easy.
Right, of course
That's why we
not.
started, right? We started the process of looking. Because if we do find that right person, it's a huge improvement to the school district. For all those reasons you mentioned and more.
And we have looked at it and discussed it kind of year over year, as this would be another option for us if we weren't gonna continue on with what we have been doing. But it's just, financially or some, for whatever reason, done the search and not found somebody. It is, I don't know, we believe it's the right avenue to go at this point, but it is challenging to find the right fit.
So if in the perfect world, you find the right person, right? And the other two companies, they go away, right? Which was how much for the two of them again?
70.
70. So then the real increase by having somebody full-time is $30,000?
Yeah, depending. There's also other ways to look at this, but of the other options, could be sharing services with another district. That's another option, that'd be cheaper. You wouldn't have as much time. The other option is to go with a different kind of outsourced person, but that person would work every day for 3 to 4 hours a week. There's different ways to kind of skin this one, but you try to do the best you can in the beginning, and then you have fallback positions, so you're not stranded at the end.
Is there a particular time of day that kids are more apt to have issues? Like in the morning or after lunch?
If you think mental health wise, probably from the time they get to school until shortly after lunch would probably be the bulk. If I was hiring someone for part-time, but every
It'd be in the
day,
morning,
it would be the morning until after lunch.
get them settled in and, okay,
Because things happen, like on a Monday morning, if something happened at home, if you're dealing with a divorce scenario, potentially, there with the other parent, and it didn't go so well. If there's a situation of any kind of wacky thing that happens in all of our lives, that kid comes in on Monday, sometimes they might need to have a person,
right,
right? We all need a person.
yeah, oh.
And the problem with the 4 hours a week is, of course, you can't really have that issue yet.
right.
But remember also, we have a counselor. And that person handles a lot of that day-to-day mental health work anyway.
What's the background on the counselor? Is it like
Cer-
a social work?
Certified, could be
Yeah.
in law, but in this case, it's not. It's a certified school counselor.
Okay,
A social worker could operate in that as well. In our case, it's not, it's a school counselor. And the psychologist does other things. So the school counselor cannot do IEP generated testing. We need a psychologist or social worker to do that. So either one could do the testing. The guidance counselor cannot.
what's involved in the testing? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to.
Yeah,
figure it all out.
no, there's standardized requirements for legal testing to determine eligibility.
Okay,
And then after eligibility is determined, then you have annual or triannual testing to determine still needs. In other words, just because they had the need a year ago doesn't mean the same need exists.
it's
You
like,
always want to
is it more like a meeting, just a question, answer?
No,
kinda-
it's formal. There's formal,
te-
there's formal
paper.
testing, yeah, standardized testing.
Yeah.
One-on-one. It's not standardized testing that you're thinking. It's a formalized one-on-one testing process for the person to interact with the student and get all the information they can about their social, emotional, as well as academic needs. I think a workshop.
I know, and the medical aspect of it, you know, the doctorate information.
Sometimes that could be alone. So you have another thing, other than IEPs, then you have 504s. A 504 is another legal process from 1974. That process requires, if a child qualifies. So, back to the red flag, someone raises their hand, then we have to assess through an eligibility meeting to determine if a child qualifies for services under 504, which is not special education. Those services are gonna be run by the guidance counseling department, not the special ed department next year. That's a change. That also saved us money by doing that, actually. We moved services from special ed to where we already have money being spent and reduce the cost of special education in the K environment for next year. You can see those on the.
How many of the at-risk red flag kids do we have? We have
We have 504.
177, right?
504 and IEP together, we are about 33%.
Including the 504 or
If
not?
you add 504 and IEP, special ed and 504, we're right around 33%, a little higher, maybe 35%. That's 1 in every 3 kids. And if those issues are not addressed early, they grow, and those are the things that you're seeing massive numbers at the high school level. And that's out of our control. And you don't want that to be the case. So the more you can do in-house at the K level to support kids, the better, financially better, but forget financially, it's better for kids.
Are the parents involved in this
And both,
along the way?
the whole.
I
As
know
much as they
504
determine.
there's meetings
Both
and
ways,
things like that, so.
They're both called PPT meetings, whether it's 504 or IEP. It's a meeting that involves the parent, the professionals, and discussing best options for student life.
You know,
Is there anything
I just wanna, like, I know you got 1 teacher retiring this year. How much, you had 3 last year, right? This is just a question that I'm
You
asking.
gotta know that
I
one.
think last year we had 5 or 6,
So, and we haven't hired anybody?
that included like Adam and things like that, so higher.
We have a reduction and a hire. We have 1 of each.
Okay.
So we have a hiring to replace the retirement person,
Mhm.
but in our preschool, we are going down a teacher. And that teacher was coming out of, a portion of that money was coming out of operating budget. So there's a grant for preschool. However, the way it was designed, the grant wasn't covering all the costs. Next year, the grant covers all the costs. But we had to reduce. We didn't reduce because we wanted to reduce, we reduced because those are the students we have. We don't have students to continue. So enrollment always plays a large part of how you budget and how you prioritize. So in the middle school where, Karen retired, the loss of the district, but she retired, we still needed that person. We couldn't not fill that position because you need a licensed person to do that job. And so we need to replace that. So we hired a brand new person straight out of UConn to start that. So we're looking forward to him beginning. And in preschool, we unfortunately had to reduce. So on the staffing side for teachers, there was a flat. No increase. The only increase would be salary and benefits. Shouldn't say that, it was a decrease because we gave
I was gonna say you had
Higher salary.
someone at the top end of the pay scale and.
But it
someone coming
balances
in.
out when you add increase. So at the end of the day, if you just look at our
Contractual increase.
teaching salaries, it really is kind of a wash, which is good. If you can get a wash on teaching salaries in a year, that's a
Insurance.
win. That's a win.
I'm good.
All right, I got one last question for you, because I'm trying to understand that the kids that are going out of district,
Yes.
do we have to offer that?
So 2 types of out of district exist. Out of district could mean a private school, or out of district could mean a public entity that functions as a private entity. Meaning Griswold, for example, has a school within a school. That is a private design in a public setting. Then we have straight private. The 2 very high cost ones are both privates. And do we have to do that? The legal responsibility is to find a placement that meets the child's needs based upon the IEP team's work in determining need. So both of those placements, One student, for example, was out of district. Then brought back and then back out of district again. That is not the most uncommon of things to see. I can go further. So,
And it's so different now from even when my daughter was in high school from when I was in high school, right? Imagine we had a minimum, even when my daughter was in school, 22 kids
oh,
per classroom. And what do we have in,
no, it's
like-
amazing class size here.
yeah, it's like 10?
10s, 12s, 15s.
The eighth grade had, what do they have in each, probably
Well, there's 38th graders.
15 in that one.
Yeah, the middle works a little bit.
Yeah, we had a teacher, no paras. There was
We don't have
one,
paras. in
one
classrooms.
great teacher that kept us all in line.
We don't
They
have
were-
paras.
They
in
were allowed to
classrooms,
beat
though,
us then.
unless they're IEP driven paras. In other words, we don't just put extra people in classrooms unless it's legally required by the IEP.
So I'm just trying to figure out how because I know one of our kids goes to Griswold, the other one went to Ellis, and these were options that they all had to go there. And really, I guess I'm just trying to figure out, do we have to offer those? Because if my mom wanted to send me someplace, or I wanted to send my daughter someplace other than the high school that came after junior high school, I paid for that.
So in a K-8 setting, which is what you have in Voluntown, you don't have your own high school. So you have what I call it, I don't know what Connecticut calls it, I call it a send and receive relationship. We send kids, someone receives them, you pay them.
Yeah,
A regional design is once they leave 8th grade, someone else handles them completely. We don't have that.
no,
We have a send receive.
Yeah.
So whether you send them to NFA, to Griswold, to Wheeler, to Ellis Tech, to the Magnet here, or this school, Ledger, wherever you're sending them, different schools have different fees. In other words, the tech schools are our most economic. We pay very little. The Magnet school, we pay little. When it gets to Griswold, the public schools, NFA, Griswold, and Wheeler, they'll have their tuition rates. So I know the board was working on this before I got here to determine how to reduce some of the options, because the options come with a different cost, which would be transportation.
right,
So if you're sending a, $30,000 to $40,000 bus for 2 kids to a school, that's economically problematic unless the school is free. School is free and the bus costs 30 to wash. All of those things get brought into the conversation. The board did an amazing job of getting this together. And they made some changes for this year and for the future. So you may have realized Killingly, for example, no longer an option. We do have one student, our inaugural student, who will be attending Ledger next year. So that's one student that will be going there.
Now we
Killingly
have to have an agricultural school.
legally
option.
must
Yeah.
have it. So, the tech schools, we have a few more kids going to Ellis Tech next year and going to Norwich Tech. That's good. We've eliminated marine science.
Yep.
That's eliminated after
3
more
years
year?
from now,
3 years.
3 years.
That's eliminated because that's far.
yeah,
And once the students that are already there are done with it, no student is going there this year.
Far, and there's lotteries in a lot of these schools,
Right.
and it makes it prohibitive
yeah,
of getting in.
It's tough
And
getting in.
you get like a onesie or a family that gets in there and they get, inaugurated and adopted and grandfathered. That's great, but then you get these dribbles and babbles of kids, and then you're forced to keep driving there. So we kind of just looked at it holistically of what made sense, and while, honoring the fact that we are lucky and unique in that way that our town has these options, so,
Yeah.
and great options. They're all very different from, what they serve our kids for, so.
We actually match some of the other Ks as well. So Preston sends to the same 3 public schools. Basra sends to multiple high schools. Sprague, Franklin, they all send to multiple high schools. You'd be doing your district a disadvantage if you decided we would be the one place that sends to one, losing choice.
right.
So,
Well,
and for
then
not a lot of
too, if
savings.
everybody went to Griswold and if that's one of the expensive ones, and you want the kids to go to trade school, so I just, it's, for as long as I've been involved when I worked here and in other meetings that I've been to, the detail has not always been as forthcoming, which is why I have all of these questions this evening, because I haven't had a child that has come through our school system.
And the questions are appreciated because the more questions, the easier it is to help explain.
Right.
I see the 26 as an opportunity to educate.
Well, and
Not
that
just-
was part of mine when I ran for my seat on the board here, was that I felt like a little bit more explanation would have been very useful. Some people you can explain all day long to and they're still gonna argue the point with you. But at least I felt like more of an effort to educate on the reasons and explain the whys and the what fors, and would be beneficial to all of us.
So watch the meeting prior to the one you watched.
I will, because
That
I
one
got
has some
nothing
more-
out of it.
That one has a lot more in it.
Okay,
Because the last meeting was kind of a summary to kind of conclude.
yeah,
But we had done 2 prior meetings with presentations on the budget specifically. If you watch both of those, you'd probably have a lot more, but even with that, you still would have more questions. And the more questions, the better, to try and help everyone understand. So one person asks a question, 30 people get the answer.
right.
Was it April, our hearing, budget hearing, April? I think so.
Well,
It was April 20th.
not here, no, the one that.
Or our, the Board of Ed one,
I think it
Just
was the week
before the one
before.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go,
so,
go back into April and I think a March one too.
yeah, I'm thinking March might have had the breakout of the specific budget items too, that
Okay.
we described, and the grant.
Yeah, we talked about the grants and where that money comes from. So, schools are funded. You know how schools are funded? Through one way. Only one thing funds schools. You know what it is? No, don't say it, Tony. Get me to say it over there.
I do not.
Taxes.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Now, people think
Yeah,
taxes, but it is taxes. Doesn't matter where the grants, where the grants from.
taxes, it's all our money.
Local taxes, federal taxes, state aid taxes. ECS, sorry. I gotta get my terminology correct. So it's still a little too much Jersey. But those, it's taxes.
Hmm.
So it's statutory requirement. And taxes pay for it. And it just comes in different ways. The idea of getting grants is good because then it's not local tax. Usually the job of the school district is to try and keep as much local tax money out of the need as
Right.
possible. Right, so when ECS supplemental, that was called then, the supplemental that just came out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nice,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah.
that's nice. And you don't have to get it every year, but nice, right? So that would help with local taxes sometimes. Those things help depending on what's needed in any given year. But people think if it's not local taxes, it's some other thing paying for schools.
No,
It's not. It's just your tax money coming from a different way. Right? That you don't think of that way because property tax is direct hit. And that's how it feels. And coming from Jersey, where the property taxes are insane, you feel it, And so that's a reality that people forget, that taxes in one way or the other are the sole function of supporting school district.
Especially here, well,
you can,
Yeah, you have no, but even remember, even that, when you have businesses, what are they doing?
Okay.
Paying taxes though. It's still taxes.
Right.
They're offsetting it, so it's not individual property tax, still tax. All that money still, it's a different way to look at schools, just the way it goes. But if you have ideas, and I said the same thing with Brian, if you have ideas on how what I present on the 26th can help the community, just call me up. Brian has all my info.
And we are gonna be working on a strategic plan going forward. In probably the summer, fall time period, like just
To
the
start it,
beginning,
yep.
to start it, but it'll be the next 3 years, 3 to 5 years,
3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 year plan, but that's.
We're talking about that at the
With
board
everything,
meeting.
yeah.
So if you want to come, hang out with us on Thursday, feel free. If you just want to watch it. We're gonna be talking about the various proposals we received to support the strategic plan, and the board will be making a decision on if we're going with a proposal or we're doing it in-house. And we'll be talking about that on Thursday.
well, thank you very much. I
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
coming in.
Of course,
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
but
Thank you.
it was an honest thing. Call me. Check in whenever you need. I'm only physically here 2 days, but it doesn't work that way.
We drag.
It's very good.
Yeah.
We drag it, yeah.
Brian's truck picking, so I gotta go.
All right. You on that?
Yeah,
Good, no,
I'm good.
Good for us?
yeah,
All right,
right,
thank you.
all right, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
all right. Thank you.
Steve, you didn't need reinforcements.
Do what?
You did not need reinforcements.
Talking
Well,
about
it-
budget is
it-
something I can do all day, every day, so.
It's good practice for the.
Seems you're really comfortable with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Doing it a long time, so,
Yeah.
talking budget, yeah. I think this is my 16th budget,
Yeah,
so we'll get it done. Thanks,
all
everybody.
right.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
bye, Kate, thank you.
Okay.
So, kind of.
Oh.
Oh.
Budget.
Everybody with that.
You know.
Yeah,
under
is
that.
that right?
It's-
Yeah.
I want,
Yeah.
the only thing is, Crystal, can you explain, and I wanted him to stay here for this, but I had a question this morning given to me about where the money for the school went with the funds that we got from the state last week.
Explain.
Oh, they had that somewhere.
Yeah, so
It's
that's
right
actually
there.
part of, that's in the revenue budget. If you look at the revised revenue budget, you'll see that there's 2 lines entered in green.
Supplemental,
Well,
page
oh,
one.
to explain it, not where it went.
Yeah, so it's going into the revenue budget to offset. Really what it's offsetting is the use of the fund balance last year. That's what it's doing. But because it's supplemental, we don't have any reason to count on it next year. We can't really use it for recurring expenses.
No,
Question, buddy.
mm-mm.
So,
I'm trying to get all my questions out of it. The last one.
we're still up after, I mean, if there's any questions, you guys can come down, call me, call Sue, call Skip, call Crystal, Tony, whoever. We're always here, so, well, during the day. And my phone's always
Yeah, I
on,
was gonna
so,
say email's always open.
yep. So, doesn't end here tonight if you got questions, so.
Do we need a motion to take this to the town meeting? Is that how we do it?
Yeah, well,
Both of them. All right, well, I will make.
Well, we have to, hold on. So we have to approve the budget is the
Mhm.
first motion.
Yeah,
So us approving the budget now is what sends it to the town meeting with the town meeting call, which you have to read in
Mhm.
full.
Yeah.
before we do the,
No.
well, that's what I was just,
So we gotta-
We vote to approve the budget is the first thing.
yeah,
So,
do we want to do them together? Take the Board of Education and the town? Or do you want separate? Do we even do theirs? They do their ones. Okay,
so we just need to do a motion to approve our budget.
yes,
Would you like to make the motion?
I was starting to. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2026-2027 Town of Allentown budget to go to the meeting. We don't have to do that?
It's just we approve the
We
budget.
approve the budget.
I second the motion to approve the 2026-2027 town budget.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
So now we've done that, the budget is locked
Yeah,
until the town
Yeah.
meeting.
yeah,
So
We're
we
not
can't make any
doing
more
that
changes
anymore.
to it because we
No.
approved it now.
but if you have questions, you can still.
Right.
call us.
But now it is
Explain.
the meeting hall.
All right.
So Brian, this is you.
This public meeting is being held in person and will be live streamed on the town YouTube channel, which is Town of Allentown CT Government. www.youtube.com.
Don't even read that.
Electors and citizens qualified to vote in the annual budget meeting of the Town of Allentown are hereby warned that annual town meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 26, 2026 at the Allentown Elementary School, 195 Main Street in Allentown, Connecticut at 7 o'clock for the following purposes. 1, to appropriate the funds necessary for the Board of Selectmen's budget for the fiscal year 2026-2027 in the amount of $2,762,613. To appropriate the funds necessary for Board of education budget for the fiscal year 2026-27, $7,527,016. To appropriate the funds for the capital projects for the fiscal year 2026-27 in the amount of $308,061 from the unassigned fund. Signed on this date, the 12th day of May 2026 at Voluntown, Connecticut Town Hall.
I make a motion to approve the call of the meeting.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, we need one copy signed.
Mhm.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?